Hi everyone, this is Sunette, and in this video we're having a look at relationships and communication. More specifically, that experience in both or either one where the communication is not so great or not open enough or not intimate enough or not descriptive enough. So here, to have a look at your relationship with your partner, for example, and if you can identify like something in their communication or about their communication that just kind of gets to you, right? Where you feel like you can, for example, sometimes ask them something and then they just give you a yes or no. Whereas when you were asking it, inside, within and behind the asking, your intention within the question was for them to share with you how exactly they feel about it, So it's like, when you sometimes ask a question and then all you get is like this flat response. And it's like, you want more, give me more. Or where, you're for example, busy in a talk and you really want to open up with your partner and share with them, what it is that you're feeling or experiencing. And it feels like you are talking to a wall. It's like your words are kind of just floating and just hitting against this wall and then evaporating into nothingness. Where while you're really wanting to be intimate and communicate and have this deep, meaningful conversation, your partner, it feels like they're just completely closed off, not responding, not really there, not really listening. It's like they're not with you in your words and in the experience of yourself. Or where, you, for example, find your partner talks too much, oversharing, where you would, for example, ask them a simple question and within that question have the intent of receiving a very, very simple, short, direct answer. But then it's like you suddenly find yourself sitting next to your partner or your friend or, whatever relationship that you're in. And it's like this whole almost psychological discussion, where you feel like you're on the spot and your partner's on the chair and you have to sit and listen and analyze and assess and give feedback. Right. So here's just some examples of what I mean with having a look at any reactions or responses that you might have in relation to your partner's communication. Okay, so once you have identified that point, we're going to have a look at how you can assist and support yourself, in relation to whatever it is that you might be reacting to in relation to your partner's communication. So let's maybe walk through some of the main issues in relation to communication that can exist. Let's say, for example, you find that you are a person who really wants to share things, open up things, be intimate in relation to what's going on inside of you, but your partner just doesn't want to hear of it. It's like there's like a connection that's missing in some way or another. And look, this can be existent in both males and as well as females, where there is it's part of your personality. You're just a person who likes digging deep and opening up and being honest about your feelings and your emotions, for example. But your partner is not necessarily on that same level of sharing or talking about things and opening up. And it's like sometimes you like go to your partner and you almost want to scratch open layers inside of them and shake them and say, open up, talk to me about what it is that you're feeling or what it is that you're experiencing. What's the words? You know, you want to, sometimes it feels like you have to force it out of your partner in terms of just finding out even just a little bit of what's going on inside of there, because for most part it's just closed. All right, so let's have a look at this dynamic, and I mean how both can equally assist and support yourselves and each other if you find that your relationship is existent within this phase or this experience of communication. So let's start with the one who likes opening up, sharing, speaking about your emotions and feelings, going in deep. So what you must remember here is that this part of you has always been a part of you. It's something that comes natural to you. And you do, for a moment, have to place yourself in your partner's shoes, for example, because to them, they might just be someone who more easily processes emotions or, you know, thinks about things and looks at things, or someone who more internalizes what it is that they're going through. And in that internalizing or even suppressing, they have throughout their lives developed, you know, their own way of dealing with things or handling things that happen inside themselves. Whereas you handle things and deal with things by speaking it out, by sharing it, by opening it up and using another person as your soundboard. So firstly, what I would suggest doing within the relationship is assessing where or who are you in your communication? What is your personality around communication? I mean, this is an interesting thing, especially if you're in a serious relationship. You know, this is something that's often taken for granted, that once in a relationship, you think things are just going to flow, you know, things are just going to work out because you are together, you made it so far, and, you know, all the rest is therefore not important, when actually it's the reverse. If anything, when you are in a committed relationship and you've decided to be together, that's where the process of really getting to know each other starts. You know, where such a thing as communication has to be understood and opened up. Where are you at with your communication? Where's your partner at with their communication? And if those two worlds and personalities are different, then how can you assist and support each other in that expression of your communication? Because communication is a part of you. And so therefore it will now become a part of the relationship. And both have to see how you can make the communication now part of this serious committed relationship. All right, so therefore, taking the scenario that we're walking in this video, where you are the one that likes opening up, sharing, going into detail, speaking your emotions, you have to voice them, whereas your partner is more someone who internalizes. All right, I mean, essentially, the main point here also that you have to consider is the way that both of you are handling communication, is it in any way detrimental to yourself or to the relationship? Meaning, you opening up and sharing and going into detail, that helps you process things, right? Your partner, for them, it helps them process things the way that they do it, the way that they internalize it. Obviously, there with internalizing, being introverted as well as extroverted in communication does have its pros and cons, which we can open up in the next video. But for now, I mean, the way that both of you have lived your lives thus far, it's worked for you, right? So it's first to establish that first point of awareness. Identify, who am I in my relationship communication? How do I like to communicate? How has it worked for me? What supports me the most? Right, that's also an important dimension to consider here. Asking yourself that question: what form of communication and when helps and supports me the most with when I'm dealing with things or struggling with things inside myself? And then the same if you are someone who more internalizes things, who more prefers first going slowly through information inside yourself, looking at it, opening it up for yourself, processing it. And if you find it relevant to speak, then you do. If you don't see it relevant to speak, then you simply don't. I mean, that form of communication has worked for you and has supported you. All right. So for this video, identify your unique way of communication. Okay. And then in the next interview, we will have a look at some practical ways in which you as partners can assist and support yourself or each other in developing your communication to growing the relationship. Thank you very much.